This is the full interview with the Director of Product Marketing for GeForce Now, Andrew Fear, as I like to call him, the Scarecrow of Nvidia. Now, this full interview has a lot more personal tidbits at the end about what games we are playing and our history. Let us know what you guys think about this interview in the comments below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more. Are you to be feared in Nvidia?
Not at all. I mean, it's
Not
funny.
at all.
I missed out on a calling. Like my father was a lawyer, and I knew that, like, I can imagine going to court and seeing her with Mr. Fear, and I should have been a doctor, but no, I decided gaming and technology where I was more at. So yeah, so not to be feared very much. My gaming skills have gone way down in the years.
Can you explain your, or can you go in the history of how you came to be on NVIDIA's team, and your history with GeForce Now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to go as fast as I can because I'm sure my history is not that interesting, but I'll do my best. So
you'd be surprised.
Well, I started off actually in college. I was in the Bay Area going to college at Santa Clara, and one of my friends next door, we used to play Quake together all the time. And one day he brought in this, I don't know, describe it. Look, it was like a computer looked like it was taken, the guts were taken apart and spread out on the table. And he was an intern at 3D Effects, and he was given one of the very first like Voodoo 1s to take home, even before it was Voodoo 1, and port Quake to Glide. And Glide was 3D Effects' proprietary 3D language before really there was DirectX or OpenGL. And I walked in to see his computer, and I'm like, Joe, what is that? I don't know what it is. It looks better than my system. What is that? And he's like, well, it's 3D accelerated graphics. And of course, they didn't really exist back then. So I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, we accelerate it. And again, my brain's like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no one knows what that means.
And I just told him, and I said, I don't know what this is, but I want to work at that company.
Yeah.
So Joe put in a really good word for me. I got a job there at 3D Effects. I was interning when I was still in college. And then right after college, I got a job there. And then unfortunately, when 3D Effects went out of business, it's funny, there's always this rivalry between NVIDIA and 3D Effects back then. But, one of the most gracious things, because we realized we didn't really hate each other. I remember there was this really built up softball game between NVIDIA and 3D Effects. We played it, and then we went afterwards and hung out at the bar, had a couple beers together, and never realized we kind of like each other. So when 3D Effects was going out of business, the executives were really great, went to NVIDIA and said, all these people over here would be really great employees, you should hire them. Yeah. And I was lucky to be one of those people. I mean, I truly appreciate my entire time at NVIDIA, because if you imagine when you're younger, like, your job is to play games, like, that's my job. And when I tell them that, they don't believe me, but I tell them, I said, my job is to play games.
Yeah.
And how I got started on what was Grid and now GeForce Now was probably about 12 years ago. I was working on 3D vision glasses with my boss at the time, and he became more interested in streaming. And he worked on it kind of like just on his own for about a year or so. And then after a little while, he said, hey, do you want to come work for me to do this? And I remember telling him, like, Phil, I don't believe this is going to be possible. Like everyone else, I had my doubts. And I remember I went to E3 one year, and we were streaming one of the MechWarrior games. We were streaming from like a Los Angeles data center into the convention center in Los Angeles. And I was like, wow, this really can work. Mm-hmm. And so all of our time after that was just spent on really trying to perfect streaming and bring gaming to people that can't play games. And I'm one of those because, I traditionally have used a Mac. I obviously had a PC at home for gaming. Traditionally used Macs, and being a Mac gamer before the cloud gaming existed was probably the most painful thing you've ever done.
Very painful.
Boot camping, you're in the middle of doing a meeting, you're doing Outlook and all this other stuff, and you decide, well, I want to play a game of, maybe Battlefield 4. You have to boot camp into Windows, start all over again, and then if you haven't booted to Windows in 6 weeks, you got to update Windows, you got to do a driver update, you got to do a game update. And so the cloud became so obvious to me as a Mac gamer. I was like, this is amazing. I can enjoy everything I have on my Mac, and I can just click a button and immediately start playing a game.
Right.
And this isn't a joke when I say this, and it sounds funny to say it, but my Mac is my gaming PC now. I just don't even turn on my Windows PC anymore to play games. I play everything with GeForce Now. I'm trying to think of all the games I passed playing at GeForce Now: Cyberpunk, Claire Obscure, play a ton of Battlefield 6, Resident Evil Requiem, Death Stranding, Director's Cut. I mean, I could probably list 12 games I've completed 100% of just playing exclusively on GeForce Now.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So you said about 12 years ago, this came about to the NVIDIA grid. Now, I came across a video with an interview with you. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Oh, please don't embarrass
There
me.
it is. Now, you
My
said this was
kids
at
like to
12
watch this video and remind me of it every now and then. I get a text from my daughter saying, "Hey, Dad, remember this interview? Pick another one."
This is very interesting because a lot of people don't realize this is over a decade old. You guys been working on this.
It's been a long time. So, I mean, when we started this with Grid, the original idea was that because we were a hardware company, right? Primarily a hardware company, and we felt like we wanted to build the infrastructure, the necessary underlying components, the hardware and everything to help empower other people to build cloud gaming services. But what it became very evident, and I always say Jensen is a great visionary with this. He loves to solve hard problems, and sometimes companies don't necessarily want to. Not every company wants to take risks. I'll say it like that.
Right.
And I think what we realized with Grid was you're facing this uphill battle. You're trying to tell a story to people saying this is the future, right? Everyone, not everyone's going to have a big 400-watt GPU on their desktop, or not everyone's going to have Windows, or not everyone wants to play on a desktop. They might want to play on a television or something else. They don't want to have all these hardware just everywhere in their living room or on their phone.
Right.
And so Jensen gave us the option and the task and said, if you guys want to build your own service, go do it. And so it was pretty amazing to sort of start from basically having hardware. We then transitioned it. We started experimenting with putting a subscription service of games, like we would license games from publishers, put it like in a membership package on our Shield products. But what we realized and knew is that these were games that were typically like a first-person game. You weren't connected to Steam, you weren't connected to multiplayer. And it became very evident that, because we're all gamers, we said, but I don't want to do that. I want to play, I want to play Fortnite. I want to play, Battlefield. I want to play something online with all my other friends where they're playing. Mm-hmm. And so, because again, we're gamers, we took the approach of saying, let's not try to build our own Steam. Let's not try to build our own Epic Games. Let's not try to build Ubisoft. We know how to work with those games. We know how to work with those stores. Let's just build a service that takes the games you already own on those platforms. You bring your own games to us. You just play them directly from us. And that's really, I think, sort of a transition in how we saw our service. And that's where we took off. I think it must have been 2015 or 2016. We started launching some betas. We started actually on a Mac as a beta, and then eventually we brought it out for Windows and other platforms, and it just sort of took off from there.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this video. It's very interesting how you guys had this set up way back when.
Hi, my name is Andrew Fear, and we're here today to talk about NVIDIA Grid. NVIDIA Grid is a cloud gaming platform that allows us to take all the games you would normally play on a local PC and move it into a server, so we can virtualize it, encode it into digital video, and then stream it to basically any type of device, a smart TV, a tablet, a smartphone. So now you have all the rich gaming you want, and you don't need to have a GeForce graphics card at every single device. So the question of the day, Andrew, is can you stream in 3D, Scarecrow 3D to your computer over the cloud? We've been working with Grid since it's based upon our GeForce and Nvidia technology. We have the capability of doing it. We're not showing it today, but it's something that we're going to be working on delivering in the future. There are some pretty cool statistics about Grid. I believe your CEO mentioned something about 700 Xboxes or something like that? Yeah, so this server you see behind me is actually a collection of 20 of our Grid game servers. It has over 240 GPUs in it with 240 gigabytes of memory, and we're able to virtualize the GPU and actually split it up into 3. So which means with these 240 GPUs, we can stream over 700 concurrent 720p Xbox quality games. Can you ever get it up to 1080p? We can do 1080p. For that one, we can probably stream about 500 concurrent 1080p games from a single server rack like you see behind me. What are some of the challenges when dealing with streaming cloud games? Well, the biggest thing with streaming cloud games is density of the servers. A lot of other people try to do cloud gaming, and the biggest problem they have is they can only stream a certain number of game clients in the server, and so we're trying to maximize that density to make it profitable for operators. The second thing we're doing is we're improving game latency. One of the biggest complaints with cloud gaming is that when you push the button on the controller, you then move the mouse and keyboard, it takes a while for that interaction to happen on screen. What we've done is with using these GPUs of their Kepler architecture, we actually have built-in H.264 encoders. So in real time, you render the game into 3D and then immediately encode it into H.264 video to send out as a digital encoded video.
Now, if for hardcore NVIDIA consumer wanted to buy one of these grids and actually hook it up to his PC directly, could he do that?
Well, no, Grid for us is a business-to-business model. We're going to be selling it to telcos and MSOs so they can actually set up grid streaming services themselves. So like today you subscribe to Netflix or Amazon Prime Video on demand. You'll be able to do the same thing eventually in the future with Grid. You'll be able to log into a network and say, I want to play my Grid games, and you'll be able to get access to all those games on all your devices.
At this point, the only issue you guys have is bandwidth.
Our issues are bandwidth, and we want to sell lots of them. So bandwidth is certainly coming every year. You know, where I've lived, my bandwidth increases every year. It gets faster. So I think bandwidth is just slowly being fixed, and just we're working now then to enable the Grid servers with all of our partners.
And how long has been NVIDIA working on Grid?
You know, Grid's been something we've been working at NVIDIA for almost 5 years. You know, utilize this technology that we use every day to help test our own GPUs. And we actually use a lot of this technology to, in the supercomputer, we also use it in our professional side to virtualize graphics in the cloud. And we even use it now with our new project Shield. We're able to utilize a lot of this virtualization technology to deliver PC games on Shield. So it's a 5-year product. Grid's taken a long time, lots of engineers, and we're just excited to get it out there.
And how soon can consumers start streaming from these devices?
A lot of our partners we work with today that are Grid partners, like Agawi, Playcast, G-Cluster, and Ubitus, already use Grid technology. They're setting up services today. I know you can do cloud gaming already from Verizon, and we know more partners will be announced later this year.
Wow.
So, I have so many thoughts on that video. I want to tell you a couple of behind-the-scenes stories. So first of all, I wasn't supposed to be on stage. I was there for technical support to set up. My boss, Phil Eisler, who's still my boss now, he was actually supposed to be presenting out there with Jensen. Phil could not, he had a visa problem, and so he couldn't go. So he's like, I need you to go for me. So I was like, okay. So I went. And when I went, I was going to present. I was feeling okay. I started getting like deathly ill, like the day before that presentation on stage. And when I'm on that show floor, I am sick as a dog. And I literally went home the very next day. And then I proceeded, I think I infected half of the NVIDIA trade show that year.
Ooh.
And this is pre-COVID. And this is why we always say like CES is just a viral soup of everything. And I remember I was so sick when I left after that. And then for the next, I think 2 or 3 years, I think it was the next 2 years after that, I kept on getting sick around the same time. Eventually figured out it was allergies. I would get a sinus infection allergies, but I would get a care package from NVIDIA trade show saying, we know you're not going to make it. Here's your care package. And they would send
hilarious.
Yeah. So it was.
The fear toxin.
It was so bad. I had a very bad reputation. I'm like, guys, it's really not my fault, because then of course.
You really are the Scarecrow.
Well, what's funny was that 1 year I wasn't there. Someone else got deathly sick, and they gave it to everyone else at NVIDIA. So I was like, see, yes.
You started a trend.
Yes. So, but look at all the trends that changed. You can see back there, everything I told you was sort of true. Was we were thinking about in terms of a hardware solution that we were going to sell to partners, and we envisioned them taking it to market. But we realized that we really need to take it on ourselves and try to make something that we could build to take it direct to gamers. So I'm amazed at the growth, though, like how far we've come.
It's crazy how far you guys have come. I mean, you guys are talking about 360. Now we're talking about 5K. 120 FPS.
It's for widescreen, everything. You can game like a pro gamer on these things.
Absolutely. You guys have been doing this for almost 20 years now.
Well, it's funny was I always tell the story because no one believes me. Like, it's sometimes the old adage is necessity is the mother of invention, right? And so I worked in NVIDIA long enough where how chip bring up works. So when you get a new chip back from Taiwan, you get your first samples, and traditionally what happens is the hardware engineers take it in the lab. They start bringing, it's called bringing up the GPU. You got to bring it online, make sure it boots, make sure there's power. You're sometimes soldering it direct. And what they would do is their goal was they wanted to get to boot to vBIOS. They wanted to get to boot to Windows. That's the first two things they do. And the third thing they do is they want to play a game. They want to see, does it work? Does OpenGL work? Does DirectX work? And what used to happen was the driver guys were in one building, the hardware engineers were in another. And one of our driver guys one day, because he got so tired of bring up was, you're sitting at your desk, working. Hardware engineers say, come to the lab, it's online. Run over to the other building, look at it, it's not working. Okay, I got to go back, run back to my desk, type new code, send the driver, run back over. And so this engineer got so frustrated by it, like, this is dumb. Like, I don't want to walk, I'm lazy. And so he wrote a really simple streaming layer and said, install this on the bring up machine on Windows. And I'll connect to it in my desk, tell me when you're ready. And that's what he would do. So when he brought up this GPU, I think it might've been like an NV30 timeframe. He would just sit at his desk, he would bring up the GPU, it would stream to his desk, he'd look at it and say, color corruption problem, I know the bug, fix it, send it back to them. And that's how he brought up the GPU. And he took that and said, hey, this works pretty good. We should do something with it. He kind of had he had the vision, but like he wasn't going to work on all parts of it. But he said, this is kind of cool if someone wants to do something with it. Sorry, my dog's deciding to move.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I'll put my dog right here. This is Ellie. She's named after my son named him after Dr. Ellie Sattler Dr. Ellie Sattler from Jurassic Park. So,
okay, yeah.
Ellie, hi Ellie. Say hi to the camera.
You're not the only one, so I got mine right here.
So. Yours. What's yours name?
This is Suki.
Hi, Suki.
Say hi, Sukes.
I'm gonna put you down, Ellie, because you're moving all around to me. So, and that's Coco back there. So.
But yeah, growing up.
Oh no. Oh, you do? Oh yeah. My wife named her after Coco Chanel because she's black and white.
Coco Chanel. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to name her Snickers because she originally started off, she was black and white and brown. I was kind of like, she kind of looks like a Snickers bar.
Yeah.
Then all the brown went away and she's just totally black and white now. So probably a good name choice.
Awesome. So let's get into the nitty gritty with what GeForce Now is today. And I think one of the biggest questions that I get recurring is people don't like the 100-hour time limit. So do you have any inputs or any data on the 100-hour limit? Like, maybe those who are very, who use GeForce Now a lot, why punish those who are very, who play on GeForce Now? And are there any solutions, maybe like a family plan or something like that?
Well, our vision for the 100 hours means certainly, we understand their concern, everyone is upset about it, but we're trying to find a way to make sure that the people that are just abusing our service are not abusing the service and taking away capacity for everyone else. That's the first principle, because especially during the holidays when it gets busy, if you have people doing bad things, you're taking away the capacity, and everyone is at home. They want to play games during the holidays. They don't want to be stuck waiting in queue. And that's kind of our number one goal, is we wanted to help solve that. Now, the people that go over 100 hours, there is a percentage of people. It is quite small. It's not the vast majority of people. And at the same time, we wanted to find a way for them to buy additional hours if they want to. And they've even asked us about, what about offering like, an ultimate or an unlocked tier plan? Yeah, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about other options. I'll just say it like that. Like, we haven't really announced new things, but we're definitely looking at new ideas for plans and finding ways to let people experience things or get, additional play time in various ways. One of it could be a family plan as well. We haven't settled on it just yet, but we're talking about it and thinking about it, because we recognize there are people that might have, 2 or 3 or 4 kids in their house. They might be able to share play time. Yeah, so we're looking at all. I'm saying is that the best thing I'd say about NVIDIA overall is that we tend to not sort of sit on our laurels and say, we're done, that's it, we're moving on. We're always looking to find new ways. We're always looking to offer new ideas and options. You may not hear it from us all the time, but I'll just tell you and say that we definitely are thinking about ideas and looking at improving and offering different options for people.
Awesome. I'm down for new ideas, because I know there's a lot of people who are kind of bummed about it, and they really, if you offered it, they would get it. So I'm glad you guys have ideas. You're brainstorming about new ideas and new ways for you guys or for players to get past 100 hours even. Yeah. So that's good to know. Awesome. So my colleague is here. I'll add him to the stage. This is Little Quick.
Hey, you don't look that quick, Little Quick. You're like me.
Not always.
I had knee surgery twice in the past 6 months. I'm no longer Little Quick. I'm Slow Quick. I don't know if it's again. So.
Yeah, the name's a misnomer. My father's nickname was Quick because he was fast, but I'm just his son.
Just a little quick, right?
That's right.
So we just talked about the 100 hours. So you came in a good time.
Cool. Yeah, and I just heard you guys talking about the family plan option.
Yeah.
If it was coming around, it's all good.
Yep.
I was paying attention for a minute. Sorry, took me a bit to get here. Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to catch up and meet you.
Absolutely.
So the next question we have for you is, how do games get 5080 support? Now we've kind of already covered this. Now that most of the games in GeForce Now is they got 5080 support, and I just made a video on this, and I think it comes down to capacity and how much people use certain games or play time at certain hours and all that kind of good stuff. But if you have any specifics on that.
Sure. There's kind of two parts to it, really, when you think about it. So one part of it is that, obviously, sorry, my mic went wacky. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So make sure. So one of the things that's the concern is with the 5080 game. Number one is the game has to benefit from it. And what we found in measuring some games is they simply don't, it makes no difference. The game, it has so much overhead for CPU and GPU performance that there's no benefit to run a 5080. An example like that could be, you look at a Genshin Impact, a Honkai Star Rail. Those, honestly, I could throw the world at it and I'm going to go no more frames per second up. So it kind of makes no sense to say, I'm going to allocate a really high play game for 5080 and you can't take advantage of it.
Yeah, Genshin Impact, was it tops at 60 FPS, even at 4K or even lower. So there's really no benefit. No benefit.
And so, you think about it and say, if I'm gonna have all those users running on a 5080 for Genshin, is it gonna matter? No. Is it gonna take away your capacity, your ability to play Flight Sim or Overwatch, something like that with 5080? Yeah, it will. So we said, okay, let's take those games that don't matter, and we're gonna say, not on 5080 for now, maybe in the future, but just right now we want to make sure there's capacity for people that want to take advantage of it. There is a class of games, to be honest with you, that will benefit from 5080, but there still is a little bit of a capacity concern. We just want to make sure that we can still deliver 5080 for the most demanding games. So we're looking at, this is not again, what I say is this is not a set in stone policy. This is not something we're saying, this is it, this is the way it's going to be forever. We're saying, okay, we want to open up the floodgates, the metaphorical floodgates, and say, let people take more advantage of 5080, let them have it more and more games. And then over time, we're going to watch it and say, if we can bring more of these games that are currently not 5080, we're going to add more. So I would say is just like everything else is watch this space. There's probably over time, if they have the ability to do it, there'll be more of those games that are currently not running at 5080. We'll be able to add to those to be able to run at 5080.
Yeah, awesome. As I kind of thought, it's just it's games that.
What if I want 4,000 FPS on Stardew Valley?
I think actually, it's funny, people always think that even I am impressed with technology. Like you read about those monitors coming out of like CS and Computex. Some of these companies are running at 450 hertz or 600 hertz, and like in my brain is even like, I can't even comprehend that, and I work in this industry. I'm going, do I really need a 600 hertz monitor?
Yeah,
I probably don't, but I'm going to get one.
Just to see.
I've heard conflicting values on what the actual FPS, the human eye can even detect. So,
you know what? I mean, there is a very much. It is very true. There is a law of sort of diminishing return on this. Is that this is one of those classic mathematical asymptotal line approaching infinity or zero or whatever you want to call it. And there's certainly in that very short range, there's a huge drop where you're going, if I can go faster, I can perceive it right away. But over time, it is this law of diminishing return. You're like, how much faster can I go? And it's even also, you look at it in things, even in the PC computing space, there's been this sort of the old story that you heard Jensen talk about for years. It's about how much performance you're gonna double your every year, every 18 months. It's Moore's law. And at some point, Moore's law is you couldn't achieve it anymore. Because at some point, you can't shrink you can only shrink the silicon so much, and put more stuff in it. And you got to invent new ways to get new performance. Mm-hmm. And so, who knows? Like I said, I'm certainly not an expert in this, but I'm sure there'll be new ways and new ideas, and people will think about new things they can do with those monitors.
Now, speaking of speed and latency, I think a couple of years ago, I think you were discussing the 4080, and if the faster you go, right, the less latency that you have, and that's kind of how NVIDIA Reflex kind of works. Can you explain some of the latency that goes on with that?
Yeah, so there's latency is one of those things. Like if we look at ourselves, you hear a lot of, if you've ever talked to NVIDIA people, you'll hear things over and over again of like, like phrases or three-letter acronyms that we all, because we're in the culture, we talk about all the time. So if you ever talk to an NVIDIA person, you might hear the term POR, plan a record. You might hear also SLL, which doesn't mean what you think it means. It actually means speed of light. And so speed of light is, it doesn't mean the other thing. Sometimes it does, but usually it doesn't. And so Jensen kind of was a big adage of this as well. He would talk about speed of light. And what he means is, don't run as fast as you can and not worry about the consequences. What he means is, what is the maximum fastest possible speed you can do this thing? Whether it's a scheduled delivery, whether it's running the game, whatever it is. And so he wants you to do it, execute it well, but do it as fast as you can. Like, what is the speed of light? And then from that speed of light, that's the fastest you possibly can go. How do you get there? And so when we look at latency, what we've tried to do is, what do we need to solve on latency to make it fast? And there's lots of things. The faster you can render GPU frames out of the GPU, the lower the latency will be, because you're delivering those frames faster. That's just inherently how it works. You can also do things like building more powerful or faster encoders, because you have to grab the frames coming out of the GPU, you have to encode them right away. If you can do that quickly, you're saving on latency. You can also do things like, in that original video you saw from me where I was talking about the data centers. When we first started in cloud gaming, the philosophy was, put a data center in LA, put it in New York, you're done. Well, not everyone lives in New York and LA, they live sometimes in between. Mm-hmm. I live in Texas, and if you look at 3 of the most populous cities in America are in Texas: Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. And so building your servers in great locations on the backbone of the internet is also a way to reduce latency, because you're putting it on these huge, super fast network lanes where you're going to lower latency that way. And then lastly, what you can do is you can also do a lot of work in the client, the applications. So we have a whole team of engineers that works extremely hard to add things into our apps to reduce latency. And you kind of mentioned 2 of those things, or actually you mentioned one, I mentioned the other one. So Reflex. So the idea behind Reflex for us, when we took the technology that the GeForce team had developed, we brought it to the cloud. Reflex, the whole idea is, you want to deliver the frame out of the GPU at exactly the most perfect time as the GPU is getting ready to do the next frame. When you're encoding it into a video file. So basically your encoder's moving along and it wants to encode at these intervals, and it's waiting for the frame. And so when the encoder says, I'm ready for the frame, and the GPU goes, here's your frame, and you deliver it perfectly, you reduce latency. If the encoder's sitting there saying, I'm ready for a frame, and the GPU says, I'm not ready yet, here's the frame I just rendered before it, now you're going to start doubling your frames. You're basically repeating the same frame over and over again. That will look like stutter, that'll look like latency, and so you're having this problem where it's bad. And so Reflex, what it does, it really times that. It's a perfect synchronization between the GPU and the encoder saying, here's your frame, here's your frame, here's your frame at the best time. And then you can even combine that with G-Sync or a VR monitor. And if you're familiar with those is those VR G-Sync monitors, what they do is they vary the refresh rate of the monitor to match the frame rate of the game. So for instance, most games don't render at a solid 60 frames per second. They're rendering at 43, 52, 56, 71. And so with VR and G-Sync, you're saying, okay, well, whatever the frame rate of the game is at, I'm going to vary the refresh rate of the monitor to match that. And we added that with the 4080 launch as well, where we actually brought the G-Sync and VR display support into GFN. So now our streaming rate, it basically is varying to match the game frame rate, and then times up with the monitor. And you really combine this all together, and you can start reducing latency. And then there's other stuff on top. You get more gravy on top. So you can render at 360 frames per second, just like a little quick set there. You can, pretty soon we'll be at 600. So you increase the streaming rate, that reduces latency. And then there's also even more technology coming out. And so if you look at kind of like the internet ISPs and these service providers, what can you do to reduce latency? Traditionally all these guys, ISPs would always say like, well, buy a fast internet connection. That's not really it, right? Because if you think about the internet, it's just a pipe of all the data flowing through at once. Like everything's just coming out at once. And there's nothing that says this is more important than that. And so there was a technology that came out of Cable Labs called L4S, or what it's called as low latency, low loss. And the idea behind it is that when something comes out of a data center, let's say a GeForce Now data center, you can identify the packets coming out of that. You can tag them and say, these are L4S packets. And then as it transmits over that ISP that supports L4S, it'll be treated with high priority, and then when it comes into your house, it's then treated with high priority and then is displayed very fast. And that technology, like I said, we're seeing getting adopted by ISPs. We've done some trials here in North America. It's also that telcos for mobile devices are starting to adopt that as well over LTE. That'll help reduce latency. And so when you look at this whole thing, you know, I watched that video again, you look back 10, 12 years when you shot that video, honestly, what did we have control over back then? We basically said we can build fast GPUs and put a bunch of data centers around. Now we're, you know, innovating more on the hardware in the server. We're doing custom built hardware that's great for streaming. We're working directly with ISPs. You know, we have a great team building software apps. So we've really built all this technology out to deliver an experience which just, again, it feels amazing. And you know, when you joined, I said my gaming PC is my MacBook I play GeForce Now on. I play Battlefield 6 primarily. That's the game I play the most right now. I think I played 100% on GeForce Now. I think my level is 272. I'm like a major 2 or 3 or something like that now. So I love it. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I have a wonderful time.
Yeah. Back on L4S, I know like no one knows anything about it. If I look it up, no one knows any specifics on how it works. This is brand new, correct?
It's about 1.5 years old. So we started working probably about 3 or 4 years ago. We started getting approached by Cable Labs about the technology. And it's one of those things where it came out of, I think, Cable Labs, of course, helps define standards for, you know, cable industries and ISPs. And so it's one of those things where it takes a long time to adopt it because they're basically building something in a lab and saying, here it is, can someone go try to adopt it? And so it takes time because we had to build out with an ISP, find someone that wanted to adopt it and try it. We have to build it into our software stack. You have to get people having the correct routers in their house to be able to support it. And these things just take time. And like it's one of those things where it's taken time to get adopted. It will probably continue to take more time, but it's one of those things that does help over time. And you will see a improved experience over time if you have an L4S network.
Did you guys didn't build this technology, did you?
No, we didn't invent it. It's okay. Cable Labs worked on it, but we were, of course, we're a great partner with them, and so we wanted to work with them to be able to adopt it inside our data centers and help them run these trial tests to show it actually does matter. And that's what we've spent, we worked on it probably for at least, when they brought it to us, probably a year and a half, just building it into our software, running some experiments with different ISPs to show it worked, and then eventually we started some trials here in North America.
So you guys are like some of the first ones to actually implement this in anything.
I'm not an expert, but I will tell you that I don't see a lot of stories on L4S coming from a lot of people. Yeah. But it kind of makes sense though if you think about it. So like, let's look at two different types of streaming things. So let's say you're going to watch a movie on Netflix, right, or Amazon Prime or whatever your streaming choice is. You click the button to watch it on your sofa or your desk, and if it buffered for a half a second or a quarter second, would you even notice?
Right.
You probably wouldn't even notice it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're watching your video over 30 minutes or an hour, if you dropped a frame or two, would you really notice?
Right.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
But cloud gaming is so different because it is mission critical that we deliver every single frame at best quality.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so for us, I think that was one of the things with Cable Labs is they needed to find something that would benefit from it. Because if you went and said like, hey, I can make, streaming of The Boys or whatever show you want to watch, I can make it a little bit faster. Is there a lot of motivation to do that? Maybe, maybe not. But if someone said, hey, I can make your quality experience of cloud gaming better. Oh, that's something I'm really trying to solve a problem on. Yeah, tell me more.
Yep. No, that makes perfect sense. So you guys are pioneers in L4S, which is good to know. It means you guys have that over anybody else.
Look, I'm saying is I'm not going to claim anyone else does it because I don't know for sure. I haven't read enough articles that you went and told me that someone else did it. But I think it was one of those things that, yes, NVIDIA as a company loves new technology. We love working on new things like this. We love finding solutions to solve problems. So it appealed to us a lot to work on it.
Awesome. Now, are there any new technologies coming to GeForce Now that's maybe state of the art or just brand new that everybody's been asking for or no one knows about?
Well, we're always working on new things. We never sit on our laurels, which is always good to know.
I don't think we have any new announcements of new things right now, but certainly we're always looking at a lot of the new technology that GeForce adopts, and we always look to bring as much of that to GeForce Now as we can. I think a lot of the new stuff that we've been working on recently is really trying to improve the user experience within the application itself. So one of the challenges you face with someone who may not be let's say you're not a hardcore gamer, or maybe you're coming back to gaming for the first time, is you might not know what games we support on GeForce Now. And so one of the things, again, we spend a lot of time working with these different store providers is, let's help set up connections between GeForce Now and the different stores. That way we can scan your library in Steam or Epic or Ubisoft or even Xbox and say, what do you own? And then we say, oh great, we support that game on GeForce Now. Let's match it for you and say, we support, let's say I'm making it up, we support 50 out of your 75 games in your Steam library. Now you know right away, I got 50 games I can play on GeForce Now right away from my Steam library. And so we've had a lot of great announcements in the past couple of years about expanding that. We added support for Ubisoft, full account linking and library syncing, added support for BattleNet last year, Xbox as well, and then we announced we're working with Gaijin and then GOG to do account linking and library syncing. So that's something I think it's a great thing for users to help discover what they have access to. And then we also shipped a new application last week, which also helps you indicate inside our application which games are part of your subscription service. Like if you subscribe to Ubisoft Plus or Microsoft Game Pass, we'll tell you and say, oh, you can play this game if you have it on Game Pass. And that just helps the gamer know and say, oh, this is why I'm paying, $10 a month or $20 a month to Microsoft or Ubisoft, because I'm getting my library of games and I get to play it on GeForce Now. And that's also been, like I said, a big thing for me, as I've been a big proponent of it, because, the Game Pass in particular that's a terrific value add for a lot of gamers. I mean, I think Claire Obscure and No Man's Sky and a couple others I played on were all because of Game Pass. Starfield as well. Starfield.
Same.
Yeah.
I think all of those were on Game Pass for me. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Definitely a big hitter, Game Pass. So, speaking of Game Pass and how people play on the platform, what are the specifications for a game to be on the free tier? I have gotten so many comments on this because it kind of goes back and forth. I know there's a couple of things that a number of games, especially new games, that the free tier cannot play, and it's kind of going down that path. So people have been wondering.
Yeah, it's a great question to ask. So there's two ways we look at this for how a game, is something that we wouldn't allow on free SKU, on our free membership type. So the first one is, for a lot of the big games coming out, we test them ahead of time because we have a great relationship with a lot of the game developers that are out there. And so we run these, we call experience performance testing on them. So we take all of our different membership types in a lab setting, we run it through the same exact hardware in our server, we measure the performance across different resolutions and all the different membership types, and we measure it and say, can this game actually run? And when we find a game where the performance is so bad on free, we go, well, you know what? If we were to offer it, it would be so bad, users would say like, oh, free membership is terrible, NVIDIA, why did you even put this game here? That's part of it. But related to that also, that just the actual performance testing is, there are specific hardware requirements the developers tell us and say, my game needs this to run. And the three things that influence the most are, number one is the CPU. The free membership is not it's a free GPU. You didn't pay anything for us to play it, so it's free, right? It's our lowest CPU type. And there's games that come in that require a Core i5, which is faster than on free, and we know the performance is going to be bad. The second thing is the game requires 16 gigabytes of system memory or 12. That's becoming pretty common a lot with a lot of UE5 based games. As the system memory is increased, free membership type has, I think, 8 gigabytes, so it just can't keep up. And we've actually measured this through incidents that people report to us. So say, hey, I was playing, I remember last year, people were complaining like Alan Wake 2 kept crashing on free membership type. Guess why? It was running out of system memory while I was playing, and it would crash. Yeah. And so we looked at it and said, we have to move it to a paid type because it's going to keep crashing on free and we can't fix it. And the last thing is the GPU. There are some games that require a fast GPU, like you'll see their system requirements. They say, I require a 2070 to run or something, or 2060. And then some even say they require ray tracing to run, which isn't available on the free membership type. example of that would be Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. Terrific game if you haven't played it.
Oh yeah, I beat it.
Love that game.
I beat it on GeForce Now, and it is fantastic.
I played it all on GeForce Now too. I played it on my big 82-inch television. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I was. We're gonna sidetrack for a second. When Machine Games said they were making a first-person Indiana Jones, I was like, I'm not sure, because I'm used to Lara Croft third-person action adventure, but I have to say they nailed it. It was.
Oh, it's fantastic, and I equate it to actually a James Bond game, just in Indiana. If you think about it,
GoldenEye, yes.
I mean, it fits a James Bond game perfectly, just with more archaeological findings.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go back and play it again because I played it like the first over that Christmas break, and I know there was a couple of bugs where I couldn't get 100% completion for some of the areas because it got messed up. Now you got me thinking I gotta go back and play it again.
Yeah, I want to do the DLC.
I didn't get it. I got busy too. I didn't get to do it, but I got to go back and play it. But again, we diverged for a second. We'll go back. Indiana Jones is a great example of a game that required ray tracing to run. It wasn't an option; it required it, and so ray tracing is not available on the free membership type, so we had to restrict it.
Yeah, we're getting a lot more of those games too.
And again, I think you look at the trend in the industry. There's a lot of games that are adopting UE5, and UE5 is kind of pushing the envelope in terms of the graphics and what the games can do, and that in turn pushes the system requirements up. So unfortunately, some of those games can't come to free.
Yeah, and I know path tracing is becoming the standard, as you guys have said. So I mean, it's going in that direction fully.
Have you seen Resident Evil Requiem?
Oh, we covered it fully. Yeah.
That game looks amazing. I mean, I remember when we were doing early tests with Capcom, a month or so before it was releasing, we were testing it, and that first scene where you come in and you're walking down the street, all I kept thinking to myself was, oh my god, looks amazing, and I can't believe how realistic this looks. So
yeah.
Amazing technology. Like I said, I've worked at Nvidia 25 years, and every time I see it, I'm blown away too.
Yeah, it's just where we're going. Awesome. So I got a question. I know we covered playing GeForce Now in the car several years ago. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what happened to that?
Well, we did a lot of experiments with that. And I think there's certainly, we still talk to some car companies that may or may not want to do it. I think a lot of it comes down to is who's the target audience for that. And if you think about it, there's kind of two. I kind of think of it like playing in the car. There's two target audiences. One is I'm stuck sitting somewhere and I want to play some games. And the classic example could be, electric charging used to take a long time for your car. You might be 25, 30 minutes sitting there at the charging station. The thought was, well, let people play some games. Chargers are getting faster now, so maybe you don't have time to sit there. You don't need 25 minutes. You maybe need 15. And is that enough to play a game? Maybe one round of Fortnite, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I think that's changing a little bit, that there's less of an incentive for people to sit there. They just need 15 minutes, go inside, get a drink, go to the bathroom, and then leave. And the second one is, which for me, I was always like, I want it because there's second screens in the back for your kids, and they're going to sit there and play games. I think the other trend that happened in cars, what I see a lot of, because I just bought a new car for myself, and I bought my daughter a car last year, was the options for second screen viewing screens is kind of going away. You don't really see that anymore. And it's more about having people have their own iPads, because kids are, if you don't have kids, they're finicky, they're fickle sometimes, right? So they get into their car and maybe they're an iPad user and the tablet is Android based, and they go, well, I don't want to play this, I hate Android, or it doesn't have the performance to play the game I want. And so I just see a lot of what I've seen, again, this is just personal opinion, I've seen car manufacturers maybe take those out because people just bring their own iPad anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it feels like this idea of having in the car, it's gone down a little bit, but that's not to say take your iPad with you. We support tons of games on GeForce Now. You can mount your iPad to the back of the screen. I know because I've done it for my kid. And he has this little gamepad, and he sat in the car on a long road trip and he played that way. He had a Bluetooth gamepad and he was playing, I think he was playing, let's see, Jurassic World Evolution 2 at the time. He's playing it in the car on a road trip, and he was pretty happy. It kept him quiet for a good 6 hours.
Right. And I think that's the same way the airlines are going. They're taking the screens out of the seats, and because everybody's bringing their own device.
Yeah. And again, who knows, right? The market changes, and people, there's a reason to sit in your car more for hours at a time or longer times, or second screens come back. I mean, we're fully supportive of it, and like you said, as a lot of these devices anyway are just Android based, so you could just take our app and even install it directly into your car device. I mean, I even tried it in my wife has a Mercedes and it has a little tablet screen in there. I installed the GeForce Now app on it and tried it too. I was like, okay, it works, but I never use it. But at least I know it works. So if I was ever stuck in our car and I had nothing to do, I could always connect to it and play it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. It's just not really happening, but
well, the trend I always think, this is for me, like I said, is maybe the inflection point where this comes back is when we have true self-driving cars, right? So let's imagine you're now fully self-driving, and so you just sit in your car and you don't even have to my car has limited self-driving capability. It's a Genesis, but it beeps at me if my hand isn't on the steering wheel paying attention. But I can imagine this is going to happen in the future where full self-driving cars are out there. You don't need to do anything, and now it's like, well, I've got a great big screen right here, and I got an hour-long drive. What am I going to do? Well, I want to go play Cyberpunk. I want to go play Witcher 3. I want to go play, whatever game is hot you want to play right now. Then I think it starts to come back and people are looking at it and saying, this becomes now more of an option that a car manufacturer might want to offer.
Kind of like the one you guys promoted in CES, huh?
That would be it, yeah. But we really need to, like I said, more of those self-driving cars really take off. And like I said, full autonomous. Here in Austin, we have those Waymos that drive around that are fully autonomous. You don't even sit in the front; you just sit in the back and just, I guess, hold on.
Yeah, awesome. I do have one more question, and I know Little Quick was thinking about this too. If we want more games from more publishers, what is the best way to contact them to get their game on the platform?
I have to say, I want to give credit to the community. So we are, we're a company that respects game publishers and their wishes. And so when we went to a full commercial service, when we started charging people money for it, we knew that the right thing to do was to sit down and say, okay, let's make sure publishers opt in to agree their games GeForce Now. And we did that, of course, because we're part of the gaming industry. We don't want people to get upset at us and do things that they don't want, number one. And number two, it also causes game publishers to care more about you. Meaning, if they don't know what you're doing, they don't care. And all they care about is if they see bugs coming from your platform and they didn't agree to it, they're going to say, well, just take my game off. I don't want to deal with the bugs. I don't want to deal with complaints. And so opting in, what it does is it allows publishers then to have a little bit of interest in knowing that I know that I chose to do this, and I know people are going to game on the platform. And then if there are issues, they'll want to work with us to fix it. And then even better, what we're seeing now is game developers actually want to work with you more because they respect the fact that you're treating their intellectual property in a good way. And that's, if you think about it as a game company, your intellectual property is your game. That's all it is, right? I mean, yes, you've got talent, you've got amazing people to work for you, you've got a great brand and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, your intellectual property is the game you built. And so if someone doesn't respect that and doesn't want to do what your interests are, why would you want to work with them?
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing now in 2025 and 2026 is that game developers are actually coming to us now and saying, hey, can I test my game now? It's coming out in 6 months. It's coming out in 2 years. It's coming out in 3 years. And we're seeing that now where game developers are coming to us saying, can you take my branch that's barely working on Steam and install it? Let's see if it works. And we do it. They go, wow, it's working. I can't believe it. And so that's a great thing to see. And what is amazing is now that because we're opt-in, we released this cool video at GDC where we showed how easy it was for a game publisher to opt in on Steam. The community took with that and ran with it, and they went around to game publishers. I mean, look, Nvidia's got an amazing dev organization. It's hundreds of people. They work tirelessly with every single game publisher that we know or we can reach to try to bring technology that Nvidia offers inside that game. But we don't know everyone, or we can't reach everyone. It's just a reality of life. And so the community actually took that video of the opt-in process and they started sharing with publishers, and the publisher would opt in. They said, oh, okay, great. And they would just opt in. And then once we do that, we can release their game. Yeah. And that's what to me is amazing to see. And that's really the power of it is at some point, there's only so much we can do. Like I said, is if we don't know them and we can't reach them, then if the community can find out for us, terrific. Or if we've asked the publisher for it and maybe the publisher isn't sure, but the community is saying, hey, you know, we got a community of gamers out here that want to play this game. All you got to do is click this button and NVIDIA will take care of the rest. That's also great.
Yeah.
So I think actually what I've seen a lot of recently is a lot of indie game developers have been contacted by the community of GeForce Now members, and they've opted in, and we've released their games. And I probably am trying to think about, I feel like it's been about 25 publishers since GDC have all reached out. They come in through, you know, various funnels of submission forms and emails like that, where they come in and say, hey, the community asked me to opt in, what do I do? And we just tell them, here's the video, go do it. And they do it, and we release their game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Any way to contact the really big publishers?
Well, you know, we're in touch with a lot of those publishers, and every publisher has a reason why, you know, they don't want their game in the cloud. I mean, everyone's different. You know, they all have their reasons. Some of the stuff we know, sometimes we don't know. I always say, like, the best thing, again, to be done is, if you think there's a big game out there, and if you're aware of it, we're probably aware of it too. And it's very likely we've requested to bring that publisher's game to the cloud. And who knows, their reasons always vary on why they choose not to do it. Either it's a timing issue, or maybe they don't understand the technology, or maybe they're not sure. But certainly, again, having the community go out more and reach out to more publishers and developers, and helping educate and saying, hey, there really is this community of people here that want to play your game. They're willing to buy it. All they want you to do is bring it to the cloud, because that's how I'm going to play my games.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, you're seeing more developers realize that there is this market there. And again, it's the amazing thing about the cloud is it's not just about the hardware. And we talked about, you know, whether you're a Mac user, you're a Chromebook user, you're a phone, you play on a phone. Obviously, you don't have a GPU, you can't play there, and so the cloud makes sense. But one of the other things that also matters is even the market in the country you're in. And that's what a lot of game publishers look at. They say is, like, there's all these emerging markets where people can't afford high-end GPUs because of import taxes or GDP or whatever the reason is. Cloud can help solve that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the funniest story I always tell everyone, and this is something that one of our Brazilian sales manager told me like 12 years ago. He's like, Andrew, I could buy a plane ticket from Brazil to fly to Florida, buy a GeForce, I think back then it was like an RTX 2080. I could buy an RTX 2080, take it in my suitcase, fly it back to Brazil, and that would be cheaper than trying to buy that same GPU directly inside of Brazil.
Dang.
That's how expensive it was. And so, you know, when he told me that story, it kind of made sense of, like, these emerging markets where it's hard for them to acquire technology that's really expensive because it is so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why things like phones are really, really popular in Brazil, because, you know, a gaming PC is a luxury item. A PlayStation, an Xbox, a gaming PC, all luxury items where you have to decide, do I really need it or not? A phone is, in this world, it's a required item. Can you imagine not having a phone right now?
Yeah, I know.
Like, how are you going to reach your family? How are you going to reach your coworker? How are you going to reach your friends? How are you going to call for, you know, whatever it is you want? So phones make a lot of sense. Hey guys, we're on an interview right now. But phones make sense. That's why all these devices are, like, so important to support, because pretty much everyone in the world has a phone now. And that now becomes, this could be your gaming device. Why couldn't this be your gaming device?
Yep, absolutely.
So emerging markets, publishers are looking at, you know, South America, you know, Turkey, India, Southeast Asia, places like that. People that don't have high-end hardware, those are great target markets for cloud gaming to expand their install base.
Yeah, and we're seeing that a lot.
We just announced our India servers, and we started inviting people 2 weeks ago. So yeah, ton of great interest there.
Yep. Awesome. Did you have any questions for us or anything regarding, I don't know, us or
what games are you guys playing right now?
Oh, so I'm sure you know that I cover, you know, the news for GeForce Now every week, and
I see your name, yeah.
But you know, I cover, you know, the really big games every single week, so it's really hard for me to really dedicate to maybe one or two games. But really, right now, since you guys upgraded the 5080, I've been playing the Gray Zone Warfare.
That game's fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their update was highly needed. And
yeah, it was what was it called? I just saw it was like a week ago, right? I can't remember the name of it, but yes, I played it for like an hour and then I had to go back and do something else. But I want to get back into this weekend.
Yes,
what about you? What about
I've been playing it on the. I just got updated to the 5080, and it's at 5K. It's so great.
Have you tried Ready or Not?
Oh, we're big Ready or Not. If you want to check out our Ready or Nots, we made when the 4080 came out, we did a video comparing the 3080 versus the changes to the 4080. If you want to go check that out, I'll put it right here.
Yeah,
I'll put it right here.
Ready or Not
is watching.
I love. By the way, I could not get into Ready or Not initially, and then my son started playing it, and I was like, because I tried it once, I was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna like it, and it was, I don't know, for some reason it brought me back to like Rainbow Six Siege Ultra 2 or something, one of those games.
Yeah, Rainbow Six, way back in the day, and
yeah, like
SWAT,
or Vegas or Lockdown.
4.
SWAT, exactly, SWAT. Oh my gosh, takes me back. And so I couldn't quite get back into it, and then my son started playing with his friend. I went into his room one day. I was like, I gotta go check this out again. And then they had the new DLC a couple months back where they added like this bomb diffusion mission in the city hall, and boy, we've been stuck on that level. I don't think we've passed it yet because we end up.
Okay, so that's a mission that we have to actually go through because we've
Have
been
you
trying
beat
to
it?
get back into it.
Have you beat it?
No,
Oh.
we've been trying to get back into Ready or Not, but it's Ready or Not's a game that you have to kind of master and what you need to do and clearing doors, clearing
Oh my god,
entryways.
Boiling Point. That's the DLC. Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. I must have played it with my son one day. I think we played 6 hours straight, and we just played that mission over and over again. And we could not beat it. We got to the very end. I think we actually subdued everyone, and there's the guy with the trigger for the bomb, and I accidentally shot the guy. And my son was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Aren't you supposed to do that?" He's
Mission
like, "No,
failed.
we just lost the mission." Exactly. I was like,
Yes, if you screw up in that game, they give you hard letters, man.
"Oh yes, it was an eye opener to pain." And then so that way, I played that with my son. I played Battlefield with him. We started playing SCP-5K for a little bit. That was kind of fun, but it became a little monotonous after a while. But it was still fun. And then I'm trying to get him into playing Windrose with me, but so far I can't get him. I can't convince him to play that with me.
Windrose is good. We had to put in like 10 hours before we could put on a video. So it's a good game though.
Yeah, no, but I'm enjoying it so far, but I want to get him to play that with me, but so far I haven't been able to get him to give him some fun
a little quicker. We had to get a little quick on a session, but Windrose is basically Valheim, pirate Valheim. So I know a little quick is big in the
told to
Valheim,
play.
so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm hesitant to invest 10s, 20s, hundreds of hours into a game that needs that much time.
Yes, I know that. Same here. And as you get older, you just realize that it's a lot of time.
It's one of the hardest parts of this channel is when you have to cover this game, and it's like, well, you're going to have to do like 10 hours before you get to a mission that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very true though. Like I said, I completely know your feeling because we play this stuff half the time, and you play it for a little bit, you're not quite sure you're into it, and then after you get into it, you're like all of a sudden you're hooked and you're stuck, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to connect again. Like Arc Raiders, the same thing. I started playing Arc Raiders at first. I was like, doesn't seem that fun. And then as soon as you start meeting people in the world, you're like, okay, this is starting to get a little more fun. And you got to find teammates to loot.
Yes,
with you.
This past year, Arc Raiders has been our game until people started going PvP like crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate.
We lost some serious gear, and we were devastated.
There's been some heartbreaking moments too. I've been just like, like you want to just throw the mouse across the room.
What am I doing with my life?
And it's not like you can go to the marketplace and go buy all your stuff back. I mean, I always thought that there might be something with Arc Raiders there where you could do it, like somehow you could recover all your stuff or some way to pay a tax.
Nope.
But yeah, no.
But yeah, thanks for the video idea of covering Ready or Not on the 5080 because it just now got 5080 support. That's a
Boiling Point.
idea.
And if you can beat that mission, I will watch the video because I have yet to beat that
okay, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there because it's on a number of different cloud platforms, and we'll try to we'll crank that 5080. We'll see how it does.
It plays, like I said, it plays great. I love playing that game with my son when I get a chance, and so now you got me thinking again. We got to play some this weekend and see if we can beat that mission.
Yeah, I will queue that. We will queue that game up. Yep, absolutely, awesome. Any other questions, real quick?
No,
Yeah, what
not
are you
really.
playing,
I'm
Little
just
Quick?
chilling.
What game?
Me?
He's
Warhammer
right
3
now I'm
guy,
doing-
so
Hmm?
you're a huge Total War guy, so he's on that.
I have been getting the itch to play that. I've been getting the itch to play Elden Ring again. I've been getting the itch to do some other games. I've been playing World of Warcraft again, which is bad for me.
Well, everyone seems to really like the Midnight expansion, so I was never a
It's
WoW guy
been-
myself, but
I think it's a step up from the last one, and it's a step that was a step up from the last couple.
yeah.
But I got lured back in to play with some friends. We'll put it that way. I'm there for the people more than the game.
Yeah.
But I don't like to be bad at things, so I also put the time in.
You know, it was funny yesterday. I was on a conference call talking to Blizzard. We were just meeting about some stuff, and one of our content managers, he's like a WoW diehard guy, and we were joking around because it was like the Blizzard guys called it the WoW game of bingo, like your bingo card, like because they would say like anytime we meet a WoW player that's played more than 20 years, we can pretty much fill out their bingo card and know what happened. Like I married someone on WoW, I met my girlfriend on WoW, I introduced my kid for the first time to someone on my WoW clan and all this stuff, and like
Oh, yeah.
our content manager hit like everything up. He's like yep, done that. So but
Yeah, it's been an interesting 20 years.
Yeah.
that game has stuck around. It's pretty. I mean, it's a testament to the power of that game. And like I said, and honestly, the community. And I think you're saying it exactly right. Is you meet people on there that you've known for years, and maybe the game isn't super fun, or maybe it's kind of just like a background to what your life is. But it's a community, right? And the same thing for me. I'm a member of a couple of Discord servers of people I play with too, and you feel like their community. Like you see, like, hey, look, my friend's online playing a game. I'm gonna go join him. I don't really care if I win or not. I'm just like, I'm hanging out, talking to him or talking to them, and just having a good time and playing some games.
No, you're not wrong. I'm into that.
Yep.
Other than that, I got my Steam Deck and I play Stardew Valley when I have a moment at work, and then I'm back to what I'm doing. So
Cool. I like
before
Stardew
that, it
too.
was Hades 2. It's just whatever I can kick out.
Well, with kids, I'm sure you got a family life and a real job. It becomes like not a lot of time left. That's why I say we're the luckiest people in the world on the GeForce Now team. We're playing games for a living, so it can't be that bad. Oh, we got more dogs then. Yeah, you see my dogs back there.
No,
it's
She
cats
doesn't sleep.
decided to
Oh, it's a
climb on
cat.
me.
Sorry. Yeah.
Mine is ready to eat. So
Mine are ready to go outside and play in the rain, so I'm gonna go let them outside in a minute.
Yeah. No, I have a problem. I go back to old favorites. It's what I do.
yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
first game you remember playing ever?
The first game I've ever played, it was either
Memory burn.
Zelda on NES or it was WWF WrestleMania on NES. I don't know which one I played
Oh.
first. Which was an awful game, by the way. It's terrible. Not a good game.
I have like a memory burn of like 3 or 4 games that I can remember, like inflection points in my life. So my
Yeah.
first game I remember ever playing on a PC, I think might have been like Space Quest. Space Quest, did you ever play it? Do you ever know what it's like?
Space Quest, I don't recall that one, no.
Okay, so here's the thing. So there was Sierra Studios was a game studio back in the day, and what was frustrating about they have these like adventure games that was all like text based. It was graphics on screen, but you would type your stuff in there, and you literally would have to type in exactly what the developer wanted. So if you saw like
Oh, yeah,
go pick up
okay.
the box, you'd say go pick up the box. Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
understand. Go pick up the white box. Sorry, I don't understand. Go pick up the white box in the corner. I don't understand. Go pick up the white
Yeah.
box in the left hand. Oh, I got it now. So it was
Like,
so
like those
frustrating.
old Bard's Tale games and stuff where you had to type
Oh.
exactly what they wanted.
100%. And then, so I remember
Oh
that.
my gosh.
I remember that. I remember the second inflection game in my life was probably Ultima 6. I remember playing that. Like I never played the Ultimas before, but when Ultima 6 came out from Origin Systems, which is based out of Texas, like that game blew my mind, like just in terms of an RPG style game, because most RPG games before that were very much about like just text and not a lot of graphics. Then Ultima 6 and Ultima 7, and then of course Quake. That game just blew me away when in college, getting the nail gun. Like I remember my freshman year in college where like LAN networks barely existed, and literally my dorm, they didn't give you any instructions how to connect up to your internet. They're like, go figure it out. And luckily we had a guy in there, was like, he had come from, like, his dad worked at Cisco and he understood networks. So like, we're, you know, hard coding our IP addresses and our DNS service and all this just so we can get a LAN game of Quake going in our dorm. And I remember when the Quake test came out and you had a nail gun and all this other stuff, I was like, man, this is incredible.
It was awesome.
Blew my mind again, and that's when I knew, like, I have to find a way to do this for a living.
I think my first game, I remember, NES, 3 years old, 89, Super Mario Brothers, obviously. That
Everyone, yes.
Zelda, that and Zelda. But my first PC game, I was playing on Pentium 95. The first PC game I ever got was Sonic CD.
Wow,
and then right after that, I played Mech Warrior 2.
Mech Warrior 2 is a good game. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, the memories, man.
Yeah.
I always laugh to myself because, like, a good way to know how old you are. I mean, you guys are press. You probably get it. I always look at my Steam library and I go, like, how many games do I have in my Steam library to sort of look and see how long have I been in this industry. And I'm just going to look right. I'm going to look right now just for fun to see how many games I have. Ooh, this is not good.
Yeah. Many games we haven't even I haven't even touched.
I have 1,317 games in my Steam library.
What do you got, Little Quick?
Should I say? That's
Go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna. This is
all right. Let me look. 1,768.
Wow. Wow, you have got a huge library of games. You could sell that Steam account. Man, you make so much money. It's a lot of games.
Yeah,
a lot of games.
Mine is now split between two different Steam accounts now. So
I thought I had a lot.
Someone's gonna marry me just to get on my family plan.
I can imagine that being your dating profile.
I have.
I'm 48 years old. I love
Relax,
cats,
ladies.
And my Steam library is 1,700 games.
It's huge.
Yeah, the background between Little Quick and I, we're about the same age. I think I'm actually a couple of months older than Little Quick here, if I remember correctly. But we programming buddies.
Oh,
we were Java and C++, kind of, together. But VB definitely.
Yeah.
VB and Java definitely.
Do you want to know my first programming language I learned was? This is going to show you how old I am. And
I think you said this was COBOL, right?
No. Worse than that. Fortran.
Oh, Fortran.
I called it.
Yeah.
Fortran.
Yeah. So I learned Fortran 77 in my freshman year in college, and I realized I hated programming because of Fortran because it's terrible. Have you ever programmed it?
I have dabbled, but then I was like, I'm going to stick to these other things.
Yeah.
So, funny story, if you don't know it, do you know why it's called Fortran 77?
That I don't know.
I don't think our teacher actually.
Because it was standardized in 1977.
Oh, 77, yes.
Yeah, and then they had Fortran 90 because it was standardized in 1990. And I remember my computer science professor said, this is a great language to learn because you'll have a job the rest of your life because all the nuclear missile codes are done in Fortran. And I'm like, that's not really a good selling point for me. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, well, you sit in a lab and once a year you update the code. I'm like, that sounds boring. He's like, well, it's a job. So
it is a job.
Yeah.
I think our teacher told us that Fortran was terrible.
He's right.
Oh yeah.
God, yeah, she or he is right. It's you'd have to start. I'm trying to remember. You'd have to, like, your first line you would type it in, and then your second line you had to move over was 6 or 7 spaces to start coding.
Yeah,
I have nightmares about that class.
I bet.
Well, cool.
I'm glad you didn't teach us that.
Yes, you should be. You should be very thrilled because it was the classic hello. We would write the program for it, and I did it, and I said I think I got out of computer science after taking that class. I said this is not for me.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, we're all we're Java buddies, so I mean that was
what I had to learn.
So Java was top.
What I learned the easiest, I should say, because it's not. Once you had C++, Java was easy.
Java was easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I again dabbled a little bit after that in C++ and Java. I did an internship where I wrote a Java software application to. You want to talk about nerdy for a second? Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So my first Silicon Valley internship was at an FPGA company. You know what FPGA is?
I don't.
FPGA.
Ooh, okay. An FPGA is called a field programmable gate array. The idea behind an FPGA was, I need a piece of silicon, but I need to program it for what I want to be specialized for my application. But a CPU is too big, it's too powerful of stuff, but I just need something that I can just do whatever I want to do with it. And FPGAs were basically like, here it is, do whatever you want to do with it. It wasn't super fast, it wasn't like optimized for everything, but you could program it however you wanted to. Like in these sort of like machine, like, like automation machines for like building, cars and stuff like that, you put FPGAs in. Very boring, perfectly honest. But my job was to write an application on the web where you can upload your FPGA sample code. We would analyze it and then tell you how big of an FPGA you should purchase, how many gates. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
And it was. I mean, I was clearly a terrible programmer because I think if someone was competent, they probably could have written it in like about a week. It took me 2 months to write it.
That was kind of the beauty of being a programmer back then, though, is the people asking you to do stuff had no idea how much work it was.
They like gave me a desk and said, as long as you have it done by the end of summer, you're fine. I was like, okay. And after about a month of not being able to do it, I was like, I have 1 more month to go. I better be able to pull this off. And luckily I did.
I need to lock in. Yeah.
Yes. I was able to find this and there was no GitHub, there was no sample code, there was no Gemini AI to write it for you. It was like, I was literally going on the web, trying to find other people that would do it and trying to look at their different bin files and load it in. Like I had to ask the server for the team, I need you to upload this library here. What is it? Can you just do it for me, please? And he's like, okay, no security checks, whatever, just throwing the library up there. Didn't even care.
There it is.
So, yeah.
No security checks, but back then there weren't a lot of people trying to get it either.
Yeah, no one. Who's going to hack an FPGA company? What are you going to do?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're walking alone in the desert, you're not likely to get mugged.
That's a good way to think of it. I never thought about that. Yeah. Not a lot of security out there. So.
Awesome. Well, it was really nice meeting you, Andrew.
Yeah. Nice to meet you guys as well. And
I
please,
appreciate you pushing it back, man. It was a little weird for me to try to get here with my other responsibilities.
Please, by all means, share your Ready or Not video. I want to go watch it. Share it with my son when you get a chance.
Yeah. You're not on Discord, are you?
I have to go look. I used to be, and then
I'll take that as a no.
No, I am on Discord. I just don't like to share my thing because I usually, because what ends up happening is people find it and they want to start reaching out to me and adding me to channels, and I'm like, guys, I'm just trying to lurk here. I don't want to. I don't.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah. We get hit up.
A lot of weird requests.
Yeah, you know how it is. So
yes, I do.
Maybe I'll create a burner Discord account or something.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Yep. I'll share that video. I'm sure you can just search us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look for it right now.
We've got a lot of stuff. If you haven't, we cover every big game that hits the platform, and by big game, I do all tiers. So this is why I ask the questions on free tier and performance and ultimate, but we cover almost every big game that's almost top 10 on the Steam wish list. So that's how I know if I need to cover it and get the game or not. I
found you right here. I'm watching. Who's playing? I don't have my volume down. I can't tell.
Yeah. So it's usually if we have a big game or a game that's multiplayer, we try to get all tiers in one video. We'll be asked for multiple accounts, and it comes out pretty well. And usually the performance in real time on which one does better.
Very cool. That's a great idea. We did review it. Yeah. Cool.
But we have a lot of them, and we do a lot of different platforms.
I'm gonna send it to my son because my son subscribed to so many different YouTube channels. I gotta give him a new one. So let's send it to him right
now. You'll see. He'll see you here shortly.
I hate those. Those are the worst. My kids go, Dad, why did you say that? Or you look weird, Dad. Why are you talking like that, Dad? My daughter once a year will send me this. My daughter will send me this picture once a year of me from some trade show from probably like 30 years ago as like a joke. She'd be like, who's this person here? I'm like, oh, that's me. She's like, that's not you, Dad. I'm like, yeah, it's me. So
Welcome to aging.
yes, I tell her, I said, see all this? This is all you, raising you right
Right, yeah, exactly. I think I've gotten more gray hairs in the past 5 years since I had the channel than any other time period.
Well, you could be. It's funny. I was having this discussion with my daughter just the other night because she was sending little pictures of me. I have this really weird hairline with my beard and my hair, where for some reason I have a line where it just stops. And so when I was younger, I would have, have brown hair, but I have a red beard. It'd be like fire engine red, like this shirt. It was just red, and people would think I would dye my beard red. I'm like, no, it's just the color it is. And then when I grew up, the red turned to white, and so like I literally have like a line where you can see it. Like, I mean, look at that. It just like normal hair color, white.
I'm getting the same issue right now where I have red in my beard and that's turning white and the rest of it's still brown. I'm like, cool, thanks.
Give it a year or two, it's all gonna go white like me, and then you're gonna be.
Can't wait.
It's fun. You get to age gracefully.
It's all right.
Well, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, it was very nice talking to you guys. I hope you guys have a good Friday, and pet your cat, pet your dog, and keep them spay or neutered.
He just was obsessed with laying on me. He just decided to lay right here. So this is it now.
A little quick. I got mine right here. So
yeah.
You're not the only one.
Mine here.
He was like,
come here. Here's my Coco. This is my.
I miss having dogs.
This is my burn doodle.
Yeah. Look at that guy.
She just got groomed, so they gave her a nice bandana, I guess, for spring or something.
Yeah.
I never realized how high energy burn doodles were till I got one. I thought. Because poodles are generally they're high energy, but I got Bernese Mountain because it's a combination of Bernese Mountain Dog and a poodle, and the Bernese Mountain Dogs are those huge dogs that usually just sit around and do nothing. And we thought this dog was going to be chill, but the poodle part of her is just out of control. Like this dog, I can throw the ball or the bone for her like every night for like an hour straight, and she still wants to do more.
That's it. Yeah, my husky was like that when I had one. He was ready to always do something.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate the time. Like I said.
Yeah.
Glad we were able to connect up and keep covering.
We'll have to do this again. Definitely down the road. Absolutely. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
See ya.